Hey guys, this is Kendall with Crispi. I'm here to talk about the family of the Briksdal boots. We have two different models in our lineup, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about each differences, why one would work for you and why the other wouldn't. We've got the Briksdal standard. This is a 4 flex on our scale of 1 to 5. It's a pretty stiff boot. It still has a little bit of give or flex in the tongue. I mean, excuse me, in the front of the boot here. New to 2020, we're introducing a non-insulated model in addition to the lightly insulated model. The insulated model is 200 grams equivalent of insulation. One of the things that's really the guys really love about the Briksdal is the tongue on the Briksdal is a stretched nylon fabric that breathes exceptionally well. Even in the lightly insulated version, you'll find that you'll get a lot of breathability, a lot of heat disbursement in that zone. So new for 2020, one of the enhancements we made as a result of hearing both feedback as well as our own field testing is we've eliminated the optional lace loop on the Briksdal, and we've gone with a regular loop here. And the second thing we did is we added additional padding in the tongue area and extended this leather up just a little bit higher. Some guys had mentioned to us that they had felt those laces, as they laced that down, they were feeling that pressure a little bit where it shouldn't be. So those are a couple of new additions that you'll see in 2020 if you've used the Briksdal in the past. We utilize a Vibram sole and dual density polyurethane midsole. The upper is a nubuck leather, extremely nice. And then one thing you may notice on both Briksdals, the SF and the standard Briksdal, is that the lacing is asymmetrical and goes farther down in the tongue. The purpose for this is so that you get a little bit more stability as far as your foot not moving around if you find yourself in real technical terrain, rocky terrain that requires edging and other things like that. At 8-inch height, it's a really good boot for basically just about anything you want to throw at it. A lot of guys are telling us they're using this boot for either steep elk country, steep deer country, but specifically for goat and sheep country. This is the boot that I personally used in Alaska on a sheep hunt, and I didn't find that I needed more stiffness. But for guys that are looking for, either guys that are maybe a little bit bigger or they just flat out want a very stiff boot, the Briksdal SF in our lineup is that boot. On a scale of 1 to 5, this is a 5 as far as the stiffness. Very, very stiff. Unlike a plastic boot or a mountaineering boot, this still allows for a little bit of flex in the tongue. So the one thing we don't want to get away with in our hunting boot construction is the idea of comfort. So regardless of the fact that this is a very stiff boot, you're going to be comfortable even when you find those situations where you may be going up a valley floor or you're on a high plateau and you're not doing a lot of steep up or down, but you're doing more traversing. Speaking of traversing, that's where a stiffer boot will assist you regardless of what kind of flex you like or don't. Because as you're side hilling or if you're front pointing up the mountain or you're side hilling on the inside or outside, having a stiffer boot is going to allow that your boot stays torsionally strong, and it's also not going to roll on you. And it also requires less energy from you as the hunter. So the Briksdal in the standard and new for 2020, a non-insulated version. The Briksdal SF, if you want a little bit more stiffness, and you're going to be spending most of your time in steep, really nasty terrain. You can find both these boots on Crispi US or from any of our dealers. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to email us or call us. Thanks for checking in.